Hello everybody! Today we will give you a workshop about talent-oriented work. The first theme is orientation. Here we are going to tell you about the Belgian system, more specific, the Flemish system. Then we will present you an organization and the department of that organization. The second theme is about talent-oriented work. We will give you some information. Then we will talk about power-oriented work, which is a part of talent-oriented work. The third and last part is the talent toolbox. First we will tell you the intention, and then we will give you 3 methods that you can use in the future.
The system that we're going to talk about is not for the whole country. Belgium is split up in 3 regions, the red, the blue and the green one. We live in the green one, Flanders. Each region has its own system. That means that everything that I will explain in a moment only applies in Flanders. In Flanders, we have Integrale Jeugdhulp. I tried to translate it so you can understand it, so I called it Integral Youth Assistance. There are 6 sectors in Integrale Jeugdhulp, but it's one system, so a minor can easily switch between the sectors depending on what his needs are. In each sector, there are different organizations that all work around one team. I'm going to go through all of the sectors to be able to situate what we are going to talk about. First, we have Algemeen Welzijnswerk. This is about the general welfare of a person. The second sector is Centrum voor Leerlingenbegeleiding. When I translate it, it becomes Center for Student Guidance. This is all the guidance that has to do with education. The third sector focuses on families with young children. The name comes from the agency that regulates all that. We call the fourth sector Geestelijke Gezondheidszorg or mental health care. All minors who need spiritual support end up here. The fifth sector focuses on people with disabilities, and the last sector is concerned with everything else. These are often children who have multiple problems in several areas. I can translate it to special youth care. The methodologies we are going to talk about today are situated within an organization that falls within the last sector. More about the organization later. In addition to the 6 sectors, youth assistance is organized in yet another way. We have youth assistance that is directly accessible. You can find this in the left frame on the slide. We also have youth care that is not directly accessible. A request must be made for this in the virtual gateway. This is the mailbox on the slide. If that help is allowed, the minor can make use of youth help from the right-hand box. The organization that we're going to discuss is located in a directly accessible youth care. The organization we will be doing our workshop on is Sporen VZW. Sporen is active in the province of Vlaams-Brabant. Sporen works tailor-made for a young person and their family by offering a range of different methods. These different working methods are organized in 10 departments. The department where the methodologies are used is a 10th department. The purpose of Sporen is to let a minor grow up safely in their own environment as much as possible with their parents, children and their families. They do this by looking for strengths and resources within the environment.
Reisbureau is a department of Sporen. They help children between 12 and 18 years old that have difficulties with going to school. Together with the child, they search new day activities that's based on the interest of the child. It can be a workplace, study or school.
RISE Bureau often works with a talent and power focus. With this workshop, we want to show you why it's important to work with young people, talent and power oriented. First, we want to give you some more information about what talent and power oriented work is and how you can apply it. Talent oriented working is a developmental approach in which self-image, self-awareness, competencies and networks of young people are reinforced. This is what makes talent and power-oriented work with young people so important. By working with young people in a talent-oriented way, they start coaching the young people without expectations, and during the process, the young person discovers his or her talents. Talent-oriented work has the goal to support young people in trying out a wide range of activities, discovering interest, and pursuing efforts. This ensures that young people can have a positive view on their position in the society. The talent-oriented work focuses on reinforcing the qualities, skills, and knowledge of the young people. In this way, talent-oriented work offers opportunities to overcome obstacles that young people meet in their development. To work talent-oriented, you have to keep 5 steps in mind. You go through these 5 steps to be able to work talent-oriented. Step 1 is connect with the target group. To be able to work talent-oriented, you need to connect with the young person. In this step, the goal is to know the young person. You need a connection, and then you can start. You can find the connection by appealing to young people their world and showing interest, patience, and persistence. Step 2 is arousing interest and curiosity. In this step, supervisors should stimulate and motivate the young people. The intention is that you let him discover his starting talent, and you can do this by exposing the youngsters to a wide range of activities. In this step, discovery is the central element. Step 3 is encourage and temper. Encouragement makes young people aware of their progress, and it's important because you encourage them to continue and you make them resistant to adversities. Experienced success can make young people to become too emotional or over enthusiastic, and then it's important to temper the young people, to set limits and encourage the young people to self-reflection so they can continue their progress. You can temper young people by appealing to them or working together with their surroundings. Step 4 is make performance special. This step is important for self-image and confidence of the own abilities. You can do this by complimenting, empowering, and celebrating. In this way, young people also dare to make their qualities visible to the outside world. Step 5. Connection with other places. Support the young people to make their qualities visible in other places. Help the young person to connect with other places in the outside world. You can do this by coaching the young person well. The hardest part of working talent-oriented is becoming aware of your talents. Young people find it very difficult to become aware of their own talents, and there are different methodologies being designed around this first step in working talent-focused. One of these methods is working with red and green moments. The intention is that you think about red moments, energy takers, and green moments, energy givers during a certain activity. Green moments are moments that you enjoy, that you forget the time, that you hardly have to think about what you are doing, what you are looking forward to, what you do not find special but admire by others, where you may be physically tired afterwards but mentally you have energy again. And red moments are moments that time does not move forward, that you are not looking forward to, that you have to concentrate very hard to be able to perform them, that you get tired of, that you have to perform something that people tell you to work on, and from which you can sleep at night. You are supposed to keep a diary for about a week. Every time you into a red or a green moment, you write it down. You should try to write down at least one green and one red moment every day. At the end of the week, you will be able to see the overview. What you may notice is that green moments are probably moments in which you use your talent, and red moments are moments that in which you work from your weaker side. You can ask extra questions in the diary. For example, why did the green moments go well? Why did the red moments go badly? Through this question, the talent can become visible.
In a power-oriented approach for younger people, we focus on the things that go well, not the limitations. We make sure that many resources are engaged in the social environment and in the neighborhood where people live. The purpose of power-oriented methods is to give people influence on matters that are important to them. Supervisors reinforce strength and talent of people, besides helping problems. The starting point is a positive attitude. People are teachable and able to grow and change within their means. The goal is rehabilitation towards a desired quality of life by themselves where they, like any citizens participating in a community, belonging, committed to do and be who they are. Upon recovery, it is a meaningful life with hope and vision for a better future and life in safety. Within the youth, it's critical to work power-oriented. As a professional youth worker, we should not focus on problems, but cooperate with the youth to discover together. What are their strengths and capabilities? What can they still do themselves? The youngsters are in charge, not the coaches, who decides what is important and what he or she wants to achieve. So take a little as possible. The younger appeal to ownership of the problem and the solution. Power-oriented is accompanied by counteractual work, search for forces in the social environment and in the community where people live. How vital the network, the greater the chance that people can easily or quickly solve the problems in their lives. In practice, it is also used in outreach work, care, and rehabilitation. The power-oriented paradigm into practice by means of context-oriented work, outreach work, care, restorative work, and you go on. Okay, all people have strength, talented, and environmental forces and are able to change and grow within their means. Principles of strength-directed works. Every person is total and unique, with their own aspirations and characteristics. The professional looking for zoning where the power and energy of the younger is. The control remains with the young person who can decide what's important, what he or she wants to achieve, and how the young person wishes to do so. Power, support, resources, skills, abilities of the individual and the environment are brought together. Opportunities tailor-made offer the young people the skills and attitudes in order to become a part of the personal development process of the young person themselves to define. Provide incentives to set realistic goals and work towards it gradually. Give realistic feedback that allow people to recognize unrealistic perceptions and interpretations. Access to other or more areas of life, thereby broadening the social world. Six principles to guide people on a power-oriented way. So, principle 1. Focus is on the belief in the presence and discovering strengths, interests, abilities, knowledge, and abilities of the person. not diagnoses, problems, symptoms, and limitations defined by others. Principle 2. Every person has an inherent capacity to learn, grow, and change. Principle 3. Every person is director of supportive interventions. The supervisor is a caring community coach concerned. Principle 4. The relationship is characterized by the cooperation, reciprocity, and partnership, the development of strengths with each other and not promising of power of the other. Principle 5. Supportive interventions are promoted in a natural environment. Last but not least, Principle 6. The entire community is an oasis of potential resources. Add figures from the informality in preference to professional, more formalized assistance. The power model of Webb and Kosha. From the strength-based social work model, we derive the strength of Webb and Kosha, who argue that bringing together individual forces and forces from the environment can lead to improved quality of life. Here you can see the power model of Webb and Kosha. Translate in English.
A student of our study conducted a research into talent and strength-oriented work. You can divide talent and oriented work into 4 steps. The research showed that talent-oriented work requires a lot of patience. That is why the student decided to work out methodologies to focus on the first step of the process. The decision was also in line with the requirements set by a Reisbureau. These methodologies give people the opportunity to search for their talents.
This method is aimed at the first steps towards discovering your talents. On the basis of these questions, a first start can be made to talent-oriented work. Since we have to do the workshop online, it will be a bit different than usual. Normally we would have pieces of paper with different questions on it. Then everyone could take turns picking questions that he can answer in the group. But since we are not in a group now, we can and we are each behind our computer, it will be slightly different. The next slides contain all of the questions that would normally be on cards. I invite you to choose and answer some questions that you find interesting. That way you can start thinking about your talents. Do not hesitate to discuss this with someone through telephone or chat. If you want to apply this method later in a group, you can easily copy and print these questions.
I present you the second method, the image viewfinder. You have to choose a picture that represents you. It helps find the interest in a creative way. By this method you have to think in a creative way. There is no obvious answer, so you can be surprised. In the next slide we will tell you how it works.
The power model of Webb and Kosha. From the strength-based social work model, we derive the strength of Webb and Kosha, who argue that bringing together individual forces and forces from the environment can lead to improved quality of life. Here you can see the power model of Rep and Kosha. Translate in English.
This method is aimed at naming your talent in different activities. Normally we do an activity first, and after the activity the participants have to choose 3 cards from the talent cards. After they've chosen the 3 cards, they have to explain why they've chosen these 3 cards. But since we have to do the workshop online, it will be a little different. You don't necessarily do an activity because it's not so easy online. But when you are able to do a little activity or game with your family, it's okay, but it's not a must. The next slide contains different cards with qualities and skills. You are supposed to choose 3 cards. When you have done an activity, you choose the cards based on the activity. If you haven't done an activity, you can choose cards that are generally applicable. After you've chosen the 3 cards, you have to explain your choice to the group. In this situation, that's not possible, so you can explain your choice to yourself, so you can think about it anyway. This method is a help for young people to discover and name their talent. So let's go and have fun.